It's like there are books you can't say anything wrong about them. Sometimes you want to know what people think about a given book, what they have learned from it precisely, and it's like they can't admit that they didn't like it. They prefer to conform their opinion to others than to express their own votes. They're afraid to voice their views and afraid of being criticized themselves in return. Personally, I trust my opinion more than other people, regardless of what they think, and I will tell you in a moment how I judge a book, a business book. I'm David Vasilievich, business owner since 1996, except for 3-4 years, during which I got lost as an employee. And since 2020, I'm an investor, an author, and a coach. So if you want to work one-on-one with me, there's a link below. I only work one-on-one because this is the single highest possible success rate. Courses, playbooks, seminars, communities, and so on can help to some degree, some people, but one-to-one coaching is something else. That's when you make it almost impossible not to succeed. Anyway, there are books that are considered as classic, as monuments, that for me were total time wasters, literally. I would have been better off not reading them. And you know all of them. This video will be fun. You know all of them, starting with the first one, the famous Think and Grow Rich. I have read this book with very high expectations, given the noise that there was around it, but nothing happened as a result for me. And that's how I judge a book, by the way, not by its fame, not by its cost, not by its cover, by the results it brings me. Now, you might interrupt, if I'm a goofy entrepreneur, this might not be the right way to assess a book, but I have grown 5 7-figure businesses and 1 8-figure business. I've been a successful mergers and acquisitions advisor for a decade in New York. So I think it's legitimate to assess a book this way, isn't it? Let me know in the comments how you assess a business book. On the other side, for example, when I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, my whole vision changed. What's an asset, a liability, how to invest in real estate, buying businesses, how to sell them, the cash flow quadrant. You close the book and you are equipped for the real life Kiyosaki delivers. He gives you brand new weapons to make your journey easier. I can tell you, Kiyosaki has helped me make millions. With Think and Grow Rich, no weapon, everything is abstract. It didn't make my life easier, it didn't save any of my time. It didn't make my life more enjoyable. It didn't make my business world more understandable. It didn't change my mindset. It didn't bring anything. Still, I read it until the end. And when I close a book, I want to look at life, or for a business book, I want to look at my business life and at the business world with brand new lenses. I need to upgrade myself with new knowledge. I need to see new things. The book is supposed to upgrade my vision, to transform my reality concretely. I'm sorry. I don't have anything against Mr. Napoleon Hill, but this book has no value to me. My feeling is that during the whole reading of the book, the author is about to share something critical with the reader, something crucial, unheard of. And after each chapter, you think you will finally discover it. He will tell you the secret. It's just right there at the next page. And it never comes. And you close the book, puzzled, dubious. If you disagree and you enjoyed the book, I'm glad you did. This is my opinion. I'm not saying don't read it. Just let me know in the comment how this book has changed your life, please, with greater details. I know a lot of high achievers, 8-figure business owners who like this book. Most of them, actually. Even if they can't exactly tell me what they have learned or how this book impacted their bank account. That's what I want to know. So these people can't convince me. Personally, I'm an ultra rational person. If you can't verbalize something, it doesn't exist to me. Anyway, second useless book of the day, legendary as well, How to Win Friends and Influence People. This is not per se a business book, but it's a kind of a reference in the business world as well. Now, at least this one is concrete. This book gives you real practical pieces of advice, unlike Think and Grow Rich. That's unreal and hypothetical. The problem is, How to Win Friends and Influence People is so outdated. It's cheesy. Let me give you some examples. People don't like to be criticized. It demoralizes them. You must be a good listener, and everybody will love you. People respond positively to encouragement. You must show your empathy to people. Can you see how this is very trivial? We all know this. In 2024, Dale Carnegie may have done a great work, very useful for his time, but today we all know this. We are naturally, effortlessly aware of everything that's in this book, almost everything. I still like the chapter about questioning people, though. Probably the less boring chapter, because this is a rhetorical strategy people are not very aware of, even to this day. Good to use. But for the rest, there is no meat. There is not much to learn. I tend to throw away a book if after reading 1/3 of it, maximum half of it, I don't see anything valuable. Because there are so many other valuable books. I don't want to waste my time. But I still finished this one as well because it's so famous. So what have been the results since I read How to Win Friends and Influence People? Nothing has changed in my life. I had been applying pretty much everything that's in the book since my early 20s, and probably all the people I know as well. Is it evergreen? Yes. But maybe it's too evergreen. It's blatantly obvious. The pieces of advice are so obvious that I didn't have to think about it. Actually, the book didn't age well. Now, let me tone down a little bit my critique for these two books. When you read books such as these ones, you have a high level of expectation, which is a kind of bias. These books are legendary. The proof of that, we are talking about them while they were written almost 100 years ago, right? So not only are we judging books and everything else in life, other items like tech, even events, businesses, even people, we judge everything from our own perspective depending on where we are in life, but we are also judging all these things regarding the initial expectation that we had. So again, I'm not telling you don't read these books. What I'm saying is that it didn't bring me anything. And I read them both in my mid-20s, while great books that I had not read yet were already out there, such as The E-Myth or Rich Dad Poor Dad. Okay? Third useless book in my list that had zero impact on my bank account. It's also a kind of a classic, The Millionaire Next Door. This book doesn't teach you how to become a millionaire in your 20s or 30s, or how to become a millionaire within, let's say, 3 years, or how to grow $1 million business. This book teaches you how to become a millionaire over your lifetime by accumulating assets, even with a very average regular job. Personally, when I read this book in my late 20s, it's not what I was expecting. As a result, it was the most boring book I have ever read. It's not a useless book for everybody, though. If you are an employee with a regular wage and a lot of patience, this shows you the path to millions for your kids. Because this path takes decades. It's been written in 1996, just before the internet explosion, the new era that allows anybody to become a millionaire very fast. So this book, for me, didn't age well at all. If you're a business owner and you want to know how to become a millionaire in the forthcoming years, forget this book. You need this one. The 400-hour work week, exactly what to work on to reach 6 figures. Then what you need to invest your time on to grow your 7-figure business, and then your 8-figure business. Look in the description how to get it or buy it on Amazon if you want to read the reviews. My point is, these 3 books have reached the legendary status, especially the first 2 books, for some peculiar reason, because they don't deserve this status for me, especially not today, at this day and age. None of these 3 books is able to show you the concrete path to millions. These are not practical business books. There are many books you should read and apply the insights from that are concrete and up to date. Whether it's this one, the 400-hour work week, or from other millionaires who have made it out there these last years or decades. Are there other books that I disliked? Yes. Pretty much all of Warren Buffett's books I have read. There's very few practical things to apply on your daily life as a business owner in his books. So for me, huge waste of time. They look more like novels than real business books with practical advice. Also, I would say all the business books series from Harvard Business Reviews is unhelpful. I feel like most of them have been written by people who don't walk their talk, who don't really know what they're talking about. Or maybe they have to conform to a very specific technical spec, maybe to comply to a kind of rhetoric to please the Harvard brand. I don't know. Very theoretical, like it's not coming from experience, from real life. When you read a book from a business owner who's made it, who's been there and done it, and he's written it with his guts, you can literally feel it. It vibrates in your hand. It's alive. HBR books are dead. Read them when you want to fall asleep. I can't believe they still cut trees to print them. Let me tell you something else, very important. You are entitled to have your own opinion on everything. Most people don't allow themselves to have another opinion. They follow the crowd. Or they only speak their mind online, anonymously. Otherwise, it's like they have to fall in line with the person in front of them. People underestimate themselves. They think that if everybody else likes something or hates something, they have to think the same. So they justify themselves unconsciously as if it was their own opinion. But it's not. If you want to live this kind of life, I wish you good luck. If not, You can find me on the other side, where people really say something when they talk, where people express their own authentic ideas and original thoughts. It's not just noise. Okay? And if you think that I am able to think and talk this way really only because I have already made enough money, so I don't care anymore, think again, because it works precisely the other way. That's because I'm a natural contrarian and that I have always talked openly about my views and opinions, and that I never cared much about other people's feelings and thoughts, that I was able to make money. It works this way. Besides, it's a trend I'm sure you have noticed. We can see these last couple of years, more and more people want, need, and like people who speak up, because they don't have the balls themselves to do it most of the time. So don't hesitate to be one yourself. One of those people who speak up, all right? Let me know if you agree or if you disagree, and if so, don't forget to tell me how one of these books I mentioned has changed your life. There's no shame, no judgment. Nobody cares about what you think anyway, so don't be afraid. Straight talk only. No time for fluff, wishy-washy language. I personally answer your comments. And tell me which classic business books you didn't like. Bye-bye.